This is our first time doing this, so something is going to go wrong.
Oh, yeah.
Almost definitely.
Can't wait.
Remember, if you're looking at that screen, you're not looking at either camera. There's so much things to look at right now, but just don't worry about it because we're just in a room together. Hey, everybody. Welcome to another Inside Tabletop. I'm here with Travis. And Travis is going to be here today so that we can have a discussion about why are websites for game companies almost universally terrible? It's like your personal hell.
It truly is.
So tell us why. Why are you qualified to even talk about this? And why does this torment you so when like a website is just like poorly designed and hard to navigate?
Absolutely. So I've been doing search engine optimization, sort of the effort. Ash has got audio on audio.
Yeah, I didn't turn I'm monitoring the chat, and then I didn't turn my audio off.
Doing great, dude.
We're doing. This is the most Ash start. I mean, at least they can hear us.
Yes.
I know that the audio is actually on and coming through. So go on. You've been doing search engine optimization
for the past right about 15 years now. So quite a while.
Wild.
And I've worked on these massive websites, these smaller websites, and just so people are aware, search engine optimization is sort of shortened to SEO. It's the idea that I'm working on a website's crawlability by search engines, its content, and its link structure,
right,
so that it ranks organically for the keywords you're targeting.
And that's a fancy way of saying it's easy to navigate and find what you're looking for and find what you want. And almost like fun to use. Yes.
Usability is a big factor. It didn't used to be. You used to be able to just jam keywords on a page.
Yeah.
And it was that was sort of how it was when I started, and it was tight.
Yeah.
You didn't have to try it all.
Well, and a lot of them were just like linear in the original days. Like if you had a website in like, the early 2000s, late 90s, it was just one endless page that you scrolled down.
Yeah.
So it was just like a straight line, and that wasn't necessary.
Yeah. And
but
it was
as
fine.
It became prettier and like more stuff was embedded, like Windows would pop up and stuff like that, that SEO stuff became like way, way more important.
Yeah.
And so much of this industry is online now.
Yes. And I think that's sort of what's so troubling is the vast majority of this industry is there's only a certain number of game stores out there.
Yeah.
The FLGS sort of system isn't going to carry everything.
Yeah.
So if maybe you're watching a mid-tier YouTuber, in this case, let's call him Ash Barker.
Yeah.
Just a random name.
Mid is so generous, by the way.
Yeah.
Thank you so much.
Yeah. Well,
that's
mid,
so nice, guys. I got called mid just now.
How about mid for this field?
Yeah. I was going to say, mid in all of YouTube, that is so generous.
No.
That is so generous.
There's only a silver play button out there.
Yeah.
If you hit gold, then we'll talk mid.
We'll talk mid. That's where I get to. I'm aspiring for mid right now.
Yeah.
That'd be fantastic.
Someday.
So I want to say out of the chat real fast because we're doing this live for the first time ever and talk about how we're going to do this. So the first part is going to be talking about your personal hell, which I've gotten to listen to this in like the car for the last like day and a half, basically talking about this stuff, but I thought we'd share it with you guys. Then we want to talk to the chat, talk to some examples and some stories. And at the end, we're going to talk to the chat and hear some of your guys' stories about how this has kind of affected you guys in tabletop. And I'll read out some top comments and stuff like that about like what you guys thought about what we just said. Because I'm trying to make Inside Tabletop easier for me to edit. So doing 2-camera editing is something that has just like destroyed my editing schedule. And this is a lot more fun and interactive too with you guys. So I thought this would be a cool structure to do. So we've tested this out with the patrons. We're going to be doing more patrons only stuff like this. And then including like movie nights and stuff like that, where we just talk complete shit. But then the industry stuff I always want to keep accessible to people. So that's the plan for this, for you guys watching right now going forward, that we'll keep hitting to. So go and chat away in the chat. I'm kind of looking at my phone right now, but we're just having a conversation live, and this will be done and then archived in the future for people to watch. So this is your 15 years of life.
Yeah. This has been my job for...
And then also you've been a tabletop gamer for like 25 years.
Yeah.
So put those two things together, and as you got more proficient in your job, this became more and more like completely out of your mind, batshit annoying to watch online.
Yeah, it's out of control, like especially in this industry, because so many. I think a lot of people forget how small web teams are for these companies.
And these companies, some of these companies are like 3 guys.
Yeah, so you'll be like, oh, I want to find this game. I can't. Mm-hmm. I'm finding Noble Knight's page, a distributor page about a product. Or even worse, you're finding an article about how bad the game is by a competitor that's out there just talking trash.
Someone talking trash, or someone like reviewing it on some forum or something like that.
Yeah. And like I think that there's a lot of games out there that people would probably find and enjoy
If someone did a Let's Play on them, let's say.
Yeah, let's say
A handsome Canadian.
Handsome, I don't know. We'll let that one sit for a while. But
Just marinate on that.
Yeah. I think there's a lot of like issues with sort of the structure there. And what's really sort of frustrating for me is a lot of these companies that are smaller, obviously not, the GWs of the world that don't need to talk to someone like me. But some of these smaller companies, it's really tough.
It's life or death for some of them.
Yeah. And when I really, I find my own sort of little parasocial hell too, and I'm like, I love this company. Yeah. I know you guys can do better.
Yeah.
Let's try to get through it.
If someone can discover you, if someone can actually see you through the search, like the search terms and stuff.
And it's such a tough sort of ecosystem for that, just because if you do search miniature war game, you're just going to see Games Workshop.
So what makes you matter then? A big company who has like an unnavigatable website, or a small company that has
a big company?
Because I feel like there's two reactions here. One is like, oh, I feel bad for you. I want to. It's almost like the sick puppy on the side of the road where you're like, I want to help you and I want to make you feel better and do better. And the other one is like, you guys fucking suck.
Yeah, it's like, how'd you do this? Why did you do this?
Yeah, you have all the money and all the time. Why is this the way that it is?
So like, there's second tier companies that I've reached out to and I've been like, hey, let's fix this. And I'll just send them a list of errors and they'll get started. And it's really helpful. And I really appreciate getting sort of a look at the inside of their company by the communication style. Because not only am I like trying to help out this company, I'm also trying to understand like who are the people that work here. Because one thing that I find really interesting is the more you connect with someone, like I've known you for years now, and I watch your content, but I also know you as a person enough to be like, this is funnier for me because of these
I know
things.
who he is.
Yeah, and like now that I know some of the creators of some of the games I play, I'm like, oh, I understand why you did this more.
Yeah.
And it makes me appreciate the human effort, because it's super easy to forget about the human effort, especially with these smaller companies. But then you got the massive companies that just gave up on design and just really tried to make it like almost like a Pinterest situation.
Yeah. So there's three things that I would like to talk to you about today. One is the thing you already started touching on, which is discovery. So how do you make your web page, if you're small, how do you make it more discoverable? If you're already big, like it just doesn't matter. So I think we focus on the small people. Two is how easy is it to use? Because like I will give up looking for something if it takes me more than like 4 or 5 clicks to get through. Like I just won't care anymore. I'll go look on a competitor's website or like a third-party website rather than buying it directly from that company. Because sometimes those websites are just easier to navigate. You know what I mean? Like Miniature Market is decidedly easier to navigate than Games Workshop's own website is, which is fucking crazy. and then the third one is, if we're talking about like usability, then what's the magic ingredient that actually makes it fun to use? Because some websites have some really ingenious shit, like make an army list, then it goes to your cart kind of features that I think are really cool that probably aren't that hard to do.
Yeah.
That would actually make websites more fun to do. And like, if you can wish list what do you think those are? So let's talk about discovery. If you were like a designer with like your little one-man band, what are 3 simple things that like anybody could do?
Well, I think first off, the number one thing to do is research what actually matches your game.
Right.
Because so many people are just like, I'll use the word Warhammer to compare, and it's like, that's not going to be helpful.
Okay.
So if you're saying like, hey, it's a Warhammer-like skirmish game, that's already putting you against Games Workshop as the number one rank.
It's like saying roguelike in a video game, which doesn't mean anything anymore.
Yeah, it means nothing. It's nothing. So understanding what you're trying to do. If you want to do a skirmish game, find out using Google's own tools. So Google Ads is if you spend any amount of money, even $1, get access to their keyword planner tool.
Yeah.
And you can look up and understand, all right, 1,000 people in the US search whatever this term is. I should make that my target. So you first have to identify what you're actually doing, because no one's going to care if you're saying this is a miniature game. That's, again, too broad, very confusing.
But if you say like kitchen table skirmish game, that might mean something to more people.
That's going to mean something to someone, and then you can start to build your like target list of demographic information and go, all right, well, I know skirmish game gets keyword research sort of volume. You can figure that out. Maybe tabletop game is close enough. I'm not going to win on it, but I can start including it in copy, and I'll make a list of, let's say, 10 keywords to start with. Really sort of core items there, and then take that keyword, put it into Google, see what comes up.
Yeah.
Because that's going to be where you're going to learn who you're actually going against.
Yeah, who your competitors are, who's trying to be in that same like market with you in that same fishbowl.
Yeah.
And it's going to filter out certain things.
Yes.
Like you might not see as much Games Workshop, as much Warhammer, as much whatever those top search results are.
And what you're also going to find out is potential partners.
Mm-hmm.
So you're going to see the Ash Barkers appearing. You're going to see the blogs, the Goonhammer, the people that you want to talk to.
Yeah.
You're going to build your audience in that manner to go, oh, these are the important players.
Mm-hmm. These people that actually care about this stuff that might end up
might be able to help you in some
that
way.
I can network with. Yeah.
Yeah. That you can reach out to and be like, read my alpha rules, please. I respect you.
I don't have time to do that. I'm sorry,
No,
guys.
don't.
I have zero time.
Don't ask Ash.
I might look at them. I don't know if I'll ever have time to reply to the people that send
He'll look at the PDF name for sure.
Yeah, I will do that. If it's a physical book, I will always look at it. There's so much out there. It's crazy.
Yeah. So I think that's a start. So you identify what you're looking for. Then it is about producing content. And so many people go out there and just jam out content. Just garbage. Maybe that you post 7 days a week for years and you've given up.
I've just given up.
And now you're doing a live stream with a guy about websites and gaming.
That's right. Yeah.
To an audience of like 6 dudes.
Yes. There's 56 people watching.
That
now.
sucks for you guys. I'm sorry.
How are you spending your Saturday?
Yeah. Woof.
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 Dude,
Anyway.
Woof. Anyway, moving on.
Besides dunking on the people that are hanging out with us
Just
right
a
now.
real masshole right now.
Oh,
It's
yeah.
fantastic.
Huge.
A real
huge.
mass.
Going,
Hey, guys.
Hey, guys.
Hey, dog.
Hey, dog.
Hey, dog. How you doing?
I like
How's
your
your
tail.
mom? I like your tail.
So
No one knew they're going to get Marky Mark impressions when they signed on to this today.
Mark Wahlberg is
He's your national treasure.
I think
He's
it's
your
actually
at all costs. He's a piece of shit. but
the
it's fine.
true masshole, like Arco stereotype that we need to really focus on
Right.
is Ben Affleck.
Affleck, yeah.
You got to look sad. You got to drink so much iced coffee that you're shaking.
That's right. Yeah.
And you got to be smoking like American spirits, but like off-brand.
Off-brand American spirits.
Yeah.
American spirits where America is spelled with 2 A's.
Yeah, and you're like, no, it's
America.
healthy.
Yeah, that's
Yeah.
right, yeah. Filterless.
Yeah, no, the filter stops the good stuff from getting through.
I like how we completely derailed helping small business owners to talk about
This is more
masses for a
important.
second. This is more important.
Because this is their audience.
This has been my entire weekend, just so you know, guys, up until now.
It's been a lot of, we haven't gotten anything
There's been a
done.
lot of twists and turns. There's been a lot of twists and turns.
But back to the content. You want to make sure that like the work you're producing, one, includes those keywords in a helpful way.
Right.
So it's really hard to distill SEO down, but at the end of the day, Google wants to see the keyword used in the title, in the body copy, and in the description of your content.
And that's writing copy 101.
Yeah.
Like that is literally how you write the back of the box, the front of the box. Like these terms are the terms you're trying to include to get yourself into
Exactly.
that mix of stuff, which I think is like, if you're just a content creator for tabletop gaming and you've written a cool game, you don't realize that is stuff that can help your game succeed. Like it seems really trite to have like terminologies pop up in your copy, but this is literally the difference between showing up in a search engine and not.
And it's tough, but also considering sort of ancillary related content. So let's say I'm writing a 15 millimeter space game.
Jez Hunt, sorry, I just want to say, after our sidetrack, Jez Hunt just said, I'm here as an act of self-harm. Sorry. This has already succeeded beyond my wildest expectations.
We did
I just
it.
want you to know we did it. Yeah. Sorry. Keep going.
It's gone. Oh wait, ancillary content. So if you're writing like a 15 millimeter space game,
Sure.
write about how to make terrain at home for your 15 millimeter space game. Write content that's related that then you can link back to your main product in a way that Google can come, or Bing if you're a psychopath, can come in and read your website and go, oh, this page is about miniature wargaming for this brand, and then here's the content that's related to it.
Yeah.
I can now paint a picture. Because search engines have an idea of what's happening, but they're also useless.
Yeah.
They base everything on the semantic idea of pre-established knowledge.
Right.
So you can't just be like, here's the same. Don't chat GPT to. Please don't do that.
Yeah. That's going to be a problem for some people, is that's going to feel like a really cheap, easy way to do it.
Yeah. I want to warn you that it's not cheap and easy, because it works at first, and then Google might identify that you've put out a ton of content that's not very high quality.
Yeah.
And
push you down the algorithm automatically.
They've said, hey, we're not going to punish AI content, but we're going to punish bad content. So if you're sitting there and you're just plugging random phrases into GPT-0 or to ChatGPT, you're gonna take a hit.
You're gonna take a hit. Yeah. It's funny because it's funny to hear you say this, because for years what I've said is, if you're writing your first tabletop war game and you want to know how to promote it, the best thing you can do is play it in front of people. You can put it online, do things about it online, even if you don't think anyone's watching, because when they do eventually come across it, there's more doors to open than discovering it. And that's like, I think that's really important for me, because if I discover something, I don't just want to learn about it. I want to be surprised by the next thing I didn't know was coming. And the more times I can open a door, if I actually just run out of time and there's stuff left, I'm going to come back to it and check it out later. So having that little bit of like, hey, and here's how I designed this. Here's my thoughts about it. Here's me playing the game. Here's how the combat system works. Like those little bits of things. One, it sounds like that's a great way of engaging the audience when they get there. And two, it also helps them find you, which is it's just interesting to hear you say that, because it seems to go with how I intuitively thought it helped, but you have some actual like metrics for when that works.
And it would be really interesting, like, let's say you wrote, like, you designed your first game. If you had a blog or even a vlog, something where it can be extracted by search engines, a clear sort of, here's how I did it, here's what I learned.
Right.
Google loves that garbage.
Yeah.
Because they're like, oh, you're using the terms. There's a 4-letter acronym they've been using for content for a while called EEAT, which is experience of the author, the expertise of the author, the authority of the author, and then finally the trustworthiness.
Yeah.
So if you're writing about one subject consistently and you're including your keywords and you're talking about your game that you did, you're meeting all those things.
Right.
If you're writing about a million things and you're just sort of reaching out to random people and being like, link to me, without considering the impact of a random website not related to you linking to you, you're not going to succeed as well as the person that's diligently working, hey, I'll post one blog every couple days.
Yeah.
FedEx.
Yeah. So let's talk then, if those are some like best practices, let's talk then about our examples of like worst practices. Cause like there's some things that truly drive me crazy about websites, and the first one, and this is a weird thing, every company looks like it's the same size from their webpage. You have no idea how many employees one company has versus another, just from their art and their splash and how well put together it is. Because an incredibly well put together website could be run by like 2 people, and a poorly piss poor website could be run by a multinational corporation that has all the money and time in the world to make the experience great.
Yeah.
And I find that super frustrating from the point of view as if because I'm always worried about on-ramp, like about people coming into this hobby. If I just Googled wargaming, I would have no idea what the different experience I might have as a customer is from looking at those things.
It'd be insane.
And then the second thing that drives me absolutely crazy is when a website is built more around keeping me from buying something than around helping to support me buy something, which means that like the company whoever made the website fundamentally doesn't understand what the game or the experience is to navigate to get to it. So I'll give you the best example is Games Workshop's website. It's
nightmarish.
Like, it's a nightmare number of clicks to get from Warhammer.com to even find the units I want and have it be presented in a way that's a logical order. It looks more like a warehouse manifest that's parsed by keyword, which is what it is. It's basically like a big drop-down menu, like WordPress site, where you click thing and it expands, click thing and it expands, click thing and it expands.
I feel like it genuinely looks like one of their old catalogs.
Yeah.
And maybe that was the attempt to be like, look at all these beautiful models, but it's unusable.
Yeah.
To the point where if I'm trying to find a specific product, if I'm on my phone, I'm having a bad time.
Yeah, the mobile version of it is dog shit. Like it's really, really bad. But two, like the number of steps to get to there, if it's more than like 2 clicks from like, here's the army name for me to find the thing I'm looking for, I'm not buying it.
Yeah.
Like I'm out at that point. I'm frustrated now and I'm putting it down and I'm walking away.
And there's certain companies, like I'll just say that like Mantic has a great experience. Mm-hmm. So Mantic has an army builder online. You can go in and say, hey, I want to build this army. And then right next to the name is a buy. and I can go look in the store and see what it looks like. See,
Yeah.
so
It
if
just
you're
adds to cart all the things that were on that list.
if you're crunchy and you want to know what the rules are first before you look at the models, that's the way to look at it. I also like just sort of going, oh, there's no model for this. That's something that Mantic does pretty often.
Yeah, yeah.
So you can go do your own magic modeling. I think it's beneficial to have a system where I can actually learn the rules, identify what I want to build and paint, and then price out what it is.
It should always be at least be parallel. Like that
Yeah.
feels like an ideal experience. But the fact that it isn't parallel, that one is not seemingly aware of the other,
Yeah.
feels like a big disconnect for me. And that to me, I think is, I understand your frustration because I don't have the technical side of it, but I have like the emotional experience side of it where I'm like, this feels like this was made by someone who didn't fundamentally know what this product was.
Yeah.
And that's frustrating me because it's making it harder for me to see the picture of what I want to buy and collect in my head.
Because I don't think the person that designed the GW website is used to. I think it's a generalized retail company that did it.
Yeah, it's like they've outside hired probably a small team and had them advise or do something for the website.
It very likely looks like, hey, this is great. If I type in, I want Belial, and then I can find Belial on the site, but it's not considering. Oh, you probably also want Deathwing Terminators. Here's the link to the Deathwing Terminators.
It's funny how there's the easiest to see example of like an e-commerce site that does that, like the Smart Tools on Amazon's own website,
Yep.
where it's like, I Google a thing and here's the thing, and right underneath it are like 50 associate things that you might want to look at. Like that doesn't feel like something that should be unknown, if
Yeah.
that makes sense. You know what I mean? Like
And-
I feel like something should instantly be able to be parsed by everybody.
Games Workshop used to have it too.
Oh, that's true. The old website did have that, didn't they?
And they were like, no,
So-
that's
so-
too convenient.
So what do you think about that? Like, why do you think that happened? Like, was it maybe an infrastructure thing? Was it a?
I think-
why would that have changed?
I think it was an outside consultant that came in from a more retail experience. So what it reminds
Okay.
me of is a clothing store.
Okay, why's
So,
that?
If you look at like any sort of clothing website, they really try to have those featured heroes. This
Okay.
is what you want to get. This is the shirt that we're focused on. This is the brand of shirts we're focused on.
So that's really funny because I always buy. It's just because it's cheaper. I always buy a bunch of just like these are the jeans I like. These are
Yeah.
the t-shirts I like. Just plain jeans.
We can tell you
jeans.
shop in bulk. It's okay.
I do. I
Yeah.
shop in bulk. But like the American Eagle website, which is where I usually get like my jeans from, just because I
Yeah.
like them, and like my Dockers and stuff like that, and my plain t-shirts. They have exactly the opposite of that though, where it's like here's the thing, here's the 9 associated things that you might want to go with it. So I don't think that's. I do understand what you're saying, but like I've definitely seen it done the other way too.
Yeah, I think it's a specific type of more boutique attempt.
Okay, got it.
So that's where I'm getting at. Like the mass market stuff, they already know how to sell.
Yeah,
They've done
yeah,
it for
yeah.
years.
They got no problem. They got no problem knowing how to do these.
That's
things.
not a problem for anybody
That's
at
fair.
American Eagle to know how to like box out a store online.
I guess that makes sense. What with the fact that like they're one of the biggest clothing retailers in North America. I guess that kind of tracks.
What I'm thinking more is I'm gonna look like an idiot. A Hot Topics website.
Yeah, baby.
So-
I've never been to that, so do tell.
I love.
I mean, you do look like at some point in
I'm
your
in
life
that
you definitely
mix.
shopped at
Yeah.
Hot
Well,
Topic.
that's where I buy my black jeans.
It's where you get your black jeans.
Yeah, so-
oh, okay. Yeah.
so
Your
the
Avril
thing-
Lavigne jeans. That you're wearing?
Yeah. The lady girl jeans dude, I'm on right now. So because I like to not be able to sit down without just mushing it. I think the main factor there is that sort of site is like a fashion site.
Right.
And they're more concerned not about showing me a product, but a design sort of aesthetic.
Sure. Okay.
So when
things that fit together.
Yeah, when I'm like, men's jeans, I just want men's jeans. And they're like, how about trip pants?
Yeah.
And it's like, that's not jeans.
Yeah. Yeah.
And then they'll continue to keep producing items like that because that's sort of similar to what Games Workshop is doing. Their recommendation engine is no longer obvious picks.
Yeah.
It is now probably fueled by top sales.
But like, what's most often bought alongside this thing?
Not even that.
Oh, really? Okay.
Like looking at the way it is, it's just like you clicked a Space Marine. The most popular Space Marine units are these.
Okay, that makes more sense then. Yeah. So they're doing it all purely based on like the numbers game of like people
That's what it-
most often buy this.
That's
thing.
what it feels like.
Yeah.
It's also just very hard to navigate.
And it's an outside guess. Yeah.
Yeah. It's also just like I don't know what this.
How do
like,
you feel about literally the number of like clicks to get to something?
It's insane.
Okay.
Yeah,
What,
so-
what do you think would be from your working in this industry? What would be an optimal number?
3 would be the maximum
Really?
number comfortable with.
Okay.
Ideally, you're from Go.
Okay.
So like the first click on the search engine should bring me to a category style page that I can see everything I would want.
Right.
Because
I was going to say that's something that it used to seem to be able to do that it can't do now. Like if there was like a Warhammer community article that linked like the army stuff from that article, you would get to like the splash page. But now because there isn't that splash page that shows you everything, and it doesn't seem to be able to link by search term.
And
you just get like the flat Warhammer 40,000 page or the flat like Age of Sigmar page, and that's it.
And they block you to immediately select your country.
Oh, okay.
So if this is your first visit on that machine, immediately the worst experience. Because it starts loading the page, stops, goes back to the home page, pick your country.
So why? Okay, so now we're into second. That's a whole other topic all of a sudden. So what is that, and why is that so annoying, and how would that get fixed?
So that's a technical issue.
Okay.
There's a few things that they could do. Ideally, you would be sort of referencing the geolocation of the browser.
Sure.
So
go pull that data.
Just so you're aware, everyone on the computer right now, everything you're doing can be seen pretty much by the advertiser.
Everywhere at all times.
In most ways.
Did you accept a cookie? Then
yeah, if you accepted the cookie, you're having a bad time. And if you landed on most websites, hate to say it, but even GDPR allows the instant tracking that you have to opt out of.
Really?
So
wow.
Unless you're saying no thanks, the default's on.
The default's on, and they know where you're from. So like, it shouldn't really need to do like. And again, this is the biggest e-commerce site for selling tabletop war games. So like, that should be a thing that would have been troubleshooted out if at all possible. Like the website does have a functionality you can do that with. Websites in general. We don't know that one has that.
But it's literally a href laying tag that you just put on the website, and it says, this page is for US English. This page is for UK English. This is for French Canadian, and it should be able to display depending on your region. There's definitely some overlap where it's like, ooh, I'm in Montreal. What am I gonna do?
Yeah. I mean, that would show up in Canada, but then like you'd have to just go Canada. Well, I think actually when you go to the Canada site, and you wouldn't know about this obviously because you're American, I think what happens is you actually get what they've done instead is you have twice as many search return entries because it'll say FR or it'll say ENG.
Yeah.
So like there's the blanket one, but then if you want to buy the FR one, it'll be the French language, and it just shows up regionally. And so you literally see every purchase option twice. So instead of having to handle changing it to like there's like a French Canadian, English Canadian language one, which you legally
they just like dump it.
It just dumps it all into the same bucket. And so now you have to sift through twice as many things.
Yeah.
And you can literally accidentally buy a French language version of something. And it's really just anything that comes with the book.
Yeah.
Like any miniature, like all of the packaging for most GW products is like 6 language packaging, so you don't have to worry about it. But for the books, or the army deals that come with the book, or the rule books and stuff like that, there'll be like an FR tag next to it.
If you order Night Scythe on the Canada website in French, do they just send you a croissant?
They should, but they don't.
That's sad.
Say that word again.
Croissant.
Croissant. And croissant. Okay, they will not send you a croissant.
Okay, here, we're in Freedom Land.
In the land, you're not in Freedom Land right now, son.
But where I'm from,
you're over the border. Where you're from? Where you're from in the? Okay, fair enough. Yeah.
Hey, I didn't have a lot of freedom crossing that border when I went over.
That's true. Yeah, they broke some models on you. You're definitely taking a look at you and your Honda Fit.
I made a mistake and I got sent to secondary right away.
Yeah, you also were wearing a camo vest crossing the border, which was probably not the best idea.
Yeah.
If you'd had those yellow shooting glasses on,
I wish I did.
You're just fully John Goodman out. That'd have been the best.
I wish I had a bandana around my head, an American flag bandana.
Yeah, well, they probably would have let you over easier if you're dressed like that. You're wearing some real paramilitary looking shit coming over. I
goofed and I gaffed, and we all learned a lesson, and they maybe broke some of my models, but I'm gonna take that on board and just never come back to this country.
That's probably the best idea anyway. I'll just drive into Boston instead.
Yeah, that's fine.
That's fine. So my second question is from the website's overall construction thing, and this is another thing that drives me crazy. How many fucking websites should you have? Should you have one?
You should have one.
Or should you have 7 websites that all link to each other where you don't know where the hell you are at any given time?
Ideally, you have the information architecture or IA of a website should be built in a way that a user can understand what they're actually looking at.
Yeah.
So in reality, it's okay to have a blog website and a product website. That's okay. So like
this is the news side. This is the buy side.
And as
they
long
might
as
hub together, but like they're not so apart.
And like from an SEO perspective, it's good to have it on one domain so you can sort of own the topic. But from a user experience perspective, like it's okay to separate. But you better make sure when I click a link, it's not broken the next day.
Yeah.
Which is something I've seen happen too much.
Okay, describe.
In the industry, just they'll post a blog and then they won't check the link itself.
Right.
So there might be an extra slash or it's missing a slash and it just 404s right away.
Yeah.
So it's just poor QA testing on the blogs.
Yeah. They're making a post and they don't actually check to see if it all works.
And if you have, let's say, a sidebar of popular articles and they're not recent and you've changed your
website infrastructure has changed a whole bunch. So give me an example of that. Have you seen that happen on websites?
All of Games Workshop's like blogs on the side and bottom don't always reference the newest thing. It'll just be like...
Oh, because the website's only, like a year and a half old. So if you've got any article over a year and a half old, they haven't bothered to go and update all those links. So it's just taking you to nowhere.
And some products are just gone. They've been reboxed, renamed. And because of that, the URL changes.
That's so often too, yeah.
Yeah, and they're
really guilty of that. So to get it, if it's reboxed and recoded, new price, that means new barcode.
You'll see a new URL.
Product. Yeah,
They'll add the year that it was produced.
Yeah.
And that'll cause additional problems. So it's something that seems really small and minor to anyone working at the company.
Yeah.
Can be extremely confusing to the user. And if I'm trying to buy something on the GW website and it's gone, I can't find it, but I can go find it on eBay for, twice the price.
Or
because
market or whatever.
Whatever.
Yeah.
I'd probably rather spend more money and just get it than sit there and wait at 1 o'clock on a Saturday, just like hoping for pre-order window to open, right?
Yeah.
It's not good as a structure for like your product categories.
And so we're talking at the top end now. This is like a thing that drives us crazy. What about on the bottom end? Because a lot of these smaller companies will end up using third-party e-commerce sites and then kind of overlaying whatever their information page is over top of it.
Very common.
Super common. And that's I don't think it's a bad thing. Because what you're talking about is you don't have a skill to do this. So what you're doing is you're acquiring someone else's skills using a template to go do it.
Yeah.
What are some of the things that drive you crazy about that? About the integration between those two things? Because it's kind of the same problem, but for a totally different reason. And I want to hear like what the help is you can give a smaller business to make that as seamless as possible.
I think a lot of it just comes down to knowing what you're buying as a website owner. So there's a million solutions out there.
Yeah.
A lot of companies use WordPress. I think it hosts like 70% of the internet at this point. Like
that's crazy.
Like, it's insane.
That's crazy. How much money is it free? Like, is it pay?
So you can get the free version.
Then that's why 70% use it.
Yeah.
But like, I was just like, who's making money off this 70% of website
Then they sell their
owners?
plugins.
Crazy.
So
and
then they sell hosting. So that's where they're sneaking the cash in. So when we look at a lot of this, you got to think, what do I actually need? Mm-hmm. And you're going to want to be able to do a store and text posts at least. And if you can make sure that you can do both. Mm-hmm. Don't jump in and be like, oh, I made a Shopify website because it was very cheap to purchase the access rights to.
There's some support, so if stuff gets screwed up, they can help me.
Yeah, but then you find out, it's really hard to do text posts, and I can't format, and I can't do this, and I can't do that. It's worth the extra investment in time to research and make sure, just like you would vet a potential producer of materials for you. You got to do the same thing when it comes to your website.
Does this fit what I'm trying to produce content-wise and what I'm trying to sell?
And if you don't know what you need, ask questions. A lot of them have customer service available. Mm-hmm. And see what kind of customer service and support is available. Just ask right away. Because you'll see plenty of websites be like, we offer a e-commerce platform and we offer support, but not really. Unless you pay an extra...
That's premium.
Yeah. And they don't explain that it's premium until you're in the process.
They say that it's there, and yet it's not actually there unless you pay extra.
It's there if you pay an extra.
It's advertised. It's advertised, but it's not actually like at the time that you want it to be.
And if something doesn't work, look if there's a known plugin. So a lot of times...
Like it's a free thing or something you can like grab.
Yeah, it's just something cheap. A lot of WordPress stores seem tough because there's a lot of integrations.
Right.
WooCommerce, bunch of options. Look at what you can integrate and what you can build on top of something you're already familiar with.
Right. So you already have at least the basic skills of like doing it, and you can just make it more what you're looking for over time.
And be careful who you're buying support from. So
that feels like a scam. That does feel like a bad gym membership where like you end up paying like $50 a month for something that you hate,
Yeah.
and you're kind of locked in for a year or something like that,
Yeah.
right? Like it's just not working for anybody.
Well, it's more so a concern that you want to make sure that if I have a website problem, don't go to Fiverr.
That's true. I would never go to Fiverr for
Don't,
almost anything.
Yeah, don't go buy the most bottom of the barrel. This is really cheap. It's going to be good.
Yeah.
These guys have a bunch of ratings. It's all fake. Some of those ratings are fake.
They're all bot ratings.
Yeah,
it's
90%. Yeah, it's all. You got to really think about who you're contracted with. Again,
you got a whole bunch of other
Yeah.
e-commerce and gateway like people in the chat right now being like, "Yes, this is all that I
Yeah.
do. Yes, preach."
Yeah.
I love everyone's nerding out right now on like how to optimize websites and
This
buy
is
them.
sick.
Buy their
I'm happy.
e-commerce. You're with your people right
Yeah.
now. This is great. Drops is with his people.
finally. I hope 4 of them are drinking iced coffees right now.
They probably are all drinking
yeah.
iced coffees right now. Yeah, they're not all from Massachusetts, man.
They should be.
I think if anybody's drinking anything, Nip was probably drinking iced tea. I don't know what Martian Play is drinking. There's a few people. Maurice says he's on WordPress. I'm not super sure, but
Yeah.
the iced donkeys is not the common drink.
It should be.
It should be.
It's
That's
the
fair.
sponsor of my work getting done.
It's the sponsor of your kidneys shutting down. Is what it's the sponsor.
Fine, dude. It's
You and your
fine.
dessert drinks.
I don't get the sugar though.
That's fair.
I get it black.
A little bit of
And
oat
then
milk. A little oat milk in there.
Splash me with some Oaties.
Splash with some milk.
And then you're like, hey, half ice. And then you stare at them and they're like, they type in less ice and you're like, less than that.
Less than that.
Less than that.
I didn't say less. I said half.
Yeah.
Yeah. You
I'll-
misspelled half.
I want to make sure.
How can you bully your Dunkin' Donuts? That's great.
I want to make sure 16-year-old pouring my coffee that you understand that I barely want ice.
Minimum wage teenager, could you
Yeah.
please put less ice in?
Yes, I'm old enough to be your dad, but I need you to focus up right now. Yeah.
Sweet. Well-
So know what you're doing, know what you're buying.
Know what
take
you're
the time.
making, it sounds
Yeah.
like, too, is like the big key. Like,
Yeah.
and what you're going to get out of what this relationship is
Yeah.
with this provider if you're buying something from
And
a third party.
Look at the cut. Look at the cut of if I sell more,
Yeah.
does it cost me more? If
Yeah.
I don't sell enough,
Does it
am
cost
I
me more?
hemorrhaging?
Yeah.
Because
And
what?
what I was going to say is maybe ask people already doing what you're doing. This is one of the things where, like, I remember walking around Adepticon. I had this conversation literally, I think, up front with, I've had this conversation before with like all of my Blaster guys, but I had this conversation with a couple of guys who were kind of new in the hall where I was really happy to see new people and new faces. And I was just chatting with them. The Hive Scum podcast guys who were there, like a bunch of these they've written their first miniature game and they're hanging out and they have a little booth at Adepticon. And we were talking about how what I like about Adepticon is during setup, everybody sits in the foyer of the hotel afterwards and we all catch up and nobody's fighting for the same dollar.
Yep.
Right. That thing when you're first getting started in this industry isn't apparent. And I think the people that really struggle are the ones that think they are. They think that their audience and this guy's audience are the same audience. And if they spend money with him, they're not going to spend money with me. And most people who are succeeding and you look up to maybe when you first get into this are probably more than willing to sit down with you and be like, absolutely don't deal with this person. Deal with these people. Deal with these people. This is the experience I had here. And you're going to be able to source tons of like community advice if you just reach out.
And I think it's really important to do that community because you never know when you can help each other figure out some new problem.
I think Adepticon has succeeded so well in the indie sphere because I think it has broken all those walls down, especially in like the independent creator market at the base of the industry, basically, where it's like, we're 6-7 people, we're making this thing we really like, we're really excited, we think it's unique, and we come back year after year. Not necessarily just to show their stuff off, that's a huge part of Adepticon, but also to get re-energized by being around the people that do the same thing that you do, because nobody else understands it the way that those people that do it too do.
Yeah, and I think it's a big expense to get like your Adepticon set up running for a lot of small businesses, but there's a lot of sort of advantage to go there and build friendships and learn from others and not see it as just this is business.
What I'm saying though is I feel like if you reached out to and tried to quickly get some information on, hey, I see you use this, like go to those websites, see what they're using and shoot off a quick email saying, hey, I'm thinking about buying this. You don't need to go to Adepticon to do that. And most of them would be more than happy to answer. Hey, like, what's your experience with this? Because I saw you're using this platform. Yeah. What did you think about it? Like, you can get honest feedback from someone that's using it that'll tell you what you really need to know.
If you want to know what someone's using too, there's a plugin for Chrome called Built With.
Oh shit! Okay, that's really useful.
So if you're kind of sitting around wondering like how is this store run, go to Chrome, download the Built With expansion.
Yeah.
open it when a website's open, and it'll give you all the information on every additional script that's on the page.
Interesting.
And it identifies things that it's like, oh, this is a WordPress website. Oh, this is on. It's
People are
hosted
blowing
by
up
this.
now. Oh shit, that's really good to know.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So like that'll give you enough information. And if you're wondering like, oh, well, what version? It's a little bit expensive, but you can get additional information from BuiltWith to go, oh, they're using this type of Google tag to get their tracking. They're using this sort of ad platform for, referral traffic.
Right.
You can get everything you need to know about a website for free once or twice a day without it triggering sort of a buy me pop-up. So definitely check out BuiltWith for sort of grasping the technology use.
Yeah, to try and figure out what you might want to use and what other people are using.
Yeah. So if you see something and you're like, this is great, also make sure that there's not a million other things, because some people have dual setups where they have WordPress for their blog, and then they've integrated sort of another layer on top for their purchasing.
The more advanced, we know what we're doing. This is how we're building this out.
Yeah. So spend the time to like check multiple pages on the same site. See if the same technology is coming up on a product page as it is just a regular blog.
Yeah.
So that's really helpful as just a general website tool.
Okay.
Because if you see something cool and you're like, damn, how'd they do this?
How's this so cool?
Yeah.
I think that's probably the most useful bit of knowledge. I didn't know you were going to talk about that, but that's very useful knowledge for people that are getting started, because like the thing that I think people don't realize about websites in this industry is it is a staff member working for you 24 hours a day showing off what you make.
Yeah.
If you don't get it right, it's the same as having a store with a shitty staff member sitting behind the counter actively turning customers away.
Yeah.
And that's a very poorly understood thing, I think, that larger companies, like your frustration is, they just don't care anymore.
Yeah.
Like they know that you're going to come to us no matter what. So
you have to.
Whatever.
So.
This is how it's going to be. So we just don't worry about it anymore. And if it's older than a certain point, it just doesn't matter. Like we're just not going to bother looking at it. And that's frustrating to you because you're like, you could do better.
Yeah.
Like,
I know they could do better, and I know they have the staff to do better, and I know they probably pay agencies a lot of money to help them and then ignore those agencies because someone else on the technology team or the product team is like, I need that money for something else.
Yeah. But at the bottom end, if you get this right, this is literally somebody waving a flag saying, "Hey, look at me.
Look at me, look at me, look at me."
Look at me. When you're asleep, when you're, in the shower, when you're taking care of your kids, when you're mowing the lawn, 24 hours a day, you have somebody basically promoting what you have.
Absolutely.
And that's a massive force multiplier if you're just getting started and you're just trying to have somebody like get to know who you are and what you're making.
Another tip thing to look at is, so we talked about content and sort of the sort of structure of like, what am I using? Make sure you take care of it. Just like a storefront, there's technical elements to a website that if you ignore, your website's going to fall apart.
How so? Like, what do you mean
So
fall
404s. So you had a product, people liked it, you took it offline, you made a new one, you made a new URL, whatever. If you don't redirect that page, any link externally that was providing value to your
anyone
site,
who posted on a forum about it, posted on Facebook about it,
that value's dead.
Right. That's really interesting. Okay.
Yeah. So Google will take value of a link that's been redirected and go, oh, this still means something.
Yeah.
And Google came out recently and said links aren't part of the algorithm. That's a lie. Links are incredibly important. So consider when you're building a website to be like, oh, if I have like a page that is going to be about terrain, building, I can reach out to people that build terrain and be like, hey, would you like to check out my blog post and maybe get a link from them?
Right.
So there's value there. But if you don't pull that value back in and you let your, redirect issues, you have dead pages, you have a slow page. Google does check how fast your page loads. So please minify your images.
Right.
Please do not put up an 800 kilobyte image.
Yeah.
I've seen million.
What do people mean? What do you mean by that people don't know? It means that you have a thumbnail that's the front facing, and then in the back is the full res image that you can pull up by clicking on it, right?
Even better than that.
Okay.
There's different formats. So we used to have JPEG or
PNGs,
and all that.
Yeah.
Please just use WebP. WebP is a new format.
I hate WebP because I can't easily screen grab it to stick into videos.
So when Ash is trying to steal your content and then
trying to promote your content.
Okay, when Ash is just reading a Games Workshop book to you. When you do Ash's lullaby.
That's right. When Ash is just ASMR reading you about the new Leagues of Votan.
And he's trying to pretend he looked at the book before he opened it. As he's like...
As I'm falling asleep.
Yeah, as you're feverishly pulling the shrink wrap off. And
forgetting to put the sticky note over the barcode that lets people download this for free.
That's gone, dude.
That's just gone. I've never once been able to redeem that code because I always screw it up.
Just killing it.
Just really top tier content from GMG.
That's what we're here for.
That's what we're here for, yeah.
GMG reviews.
Aiming right for the middle. Just nosing the plane straight into the... If I want there to be no survivors, that's the plan. As I crater this plane...
We don't want an alive situation.
No.
I don't want anybody eating
live
bodies.
After this. Yeah, I want to just flame out directly into the mountainside.
Yeah. What were we even... It's gone.
What kind of images should you embed?
Oh, WebP. Use WebP. It is a difficult to screen cap formula. I understand that.
Yeah, it's fine. It's great.
I can't steal it from Google. Sometimes I see a great picture and I'm like, damn, this would be a great meme format.
It would be, yeah.
And then it takes 2 extra seconds and I'm furious.
Yeah.
But it is
I'm furious. I'm so mad. Just livid.
It's a great compression style. It is much more lightweight. And also think about the size of your image. It doesn't need to be massive.
Yeah.
So pixel-wise, make it viewable.
Yeah. It makes me crazy, too, in web app development when they use giant images and all of a sudden the thing just takes a million years to load.
Yeah.
Those are pain in the ass.
So one of the things, page speed, which is how long it takes a page to load, was a factor before. Google in 2020 was like, hey, we're really going to focus on core web vitals, which is how a page loads. Is there total blocking time where I'm waiting for an image to pop in? Mm-hmm. Is there cumulative layout shift where when an image pops in, you see text disappear? Think about how you're designing your page and how it's going to be loaded.
Jez just commented, the most annoying thing is when you look at the thumbnail, it's a bit small. So you click on it and it just takes the exact same image just with the whole thing in view.
The whole thing in view, yeah.
But it's like the same low res, like
it's still
image.
tiny and you're like, what is this? Or worse, you're on mobile, you click an image and then you can't get out of it.
Yeah, you just see a toe and there's no way to close it because the X is like way off
and
screen.
You can't shrink it. So just think about like the way you're building your images to be normal sized on a normal screen.
Yeah.
And then look to make sure that whatever software you're using or whatever CMS, content management system, which is going to be your back end, make sure it has something called responsive design.
Right, yeah.
So responsive design resizes things and makes it work.
Makes it work on mobile.
Yeah.
Figures out what you're looking at.
So if I'm on a tablet, I should have a similar experience to mobile and a slightly better experience on desktop. Mm-hmm. But about 60% of users right now are phone only.
Yep.
I'm only on desktop when I'm working.
I can't remember the last time I bought something not on my phone.
Yeah.
Like literally today I bought something on my phone. Like I think everything I bought is when I know I need it, I'm going to forget. So I just fire up my phone and go and do it.
Yeah.
And what's so funny is I cannot imagine how much traffic that's blocking from Games Workshop's website.
Yeah.
Because their web store is like...
Even though I know for a fact today, Ash, we were at a vegan restaurant and Ash was walking out and he's like, hemorrhoid cream.
Yeah.
And it's there. It's
That's because Amazon's web optimized.
It's going to be at the house
when we get back. Absolutely, yeah. And it was a donut, not
same
cream.
day to live.
Just a donut. Yeah.
Was a donut. There's another one waiting.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. We're good.
Yeah, we're fine.
Keeping it going, keeping it moving. Someone just says, what is this, an image for ants?
Yes. Yes, it is. And it's also still 100 kilobytes.
Yeah, so fire up in the chat, guys, some of your worst website experiences. I don't want you to name and shame necessarily, but like, what was something that drove you guys crazy? And we'll try and answer this. And we'll take a quick Q&A too. You can ask me and Travis basically anything. Travis is going to be back on Monday, though, for the free episode of... the
Monday
hang. So it's the free episode this Monday. We're gonna have a guest. We're gonna use this format, and you guys are gonna get to hang out and ask both of us anything you want about what we worked on this weekend and what kind of games are coming up, and hear about how all that stuff went. Besides this too, I don't know how often I'm gonna have a guest in for Inside Tabletop, because it won't necessarily be on a Saturday every single time that I have somebody in. When it makes sense to do it this way, I will. Otherwise, we'll pre-record it in the same format. What I'll probably do is have it post as a premiere, which means there'll be a chat sidebar that I can hang out in the chat and talk to you guys on while the episode goes up. So there's kind of two ways of doing this: recorded pre in advance and recorded in the future. Either way, there'll be a chat in the side so everybody can like talk and hang out and do whatever.
When you set this up, you can schedule it to be the same time you do your laundry.
That's right.
While you're just sitting in your basement.
Sadly, sitting in my basement,
making sure that the
You get the full GMG experience. You get to see how desperately I need more patrons.
Yeah, it's tough.
It's rough. Yeah.
There was a moment where I was sitting on a bed in a basement watching a mid-40s man just going,
stare at a washing machine.
Just seeing if the washing machine was going to overflow for like a solid 20 minutes today.
It was solid. It was a good morning. Yeah.
And I was like, I thought I was at the bottom, but.
Yeah. But this is what the bottom actually looks like. I was doing the Pablo Escobar meme where he's just like sitting sadly by himself basically, except I was staring at a washing machine, not an empty swimming pool.
Yeah,
it was a 10 out of 10 moment.
And then telling me just how game development works, and I was like, this is awesome.
Talking about the future of game development.
Why aren't we recording this?
Next time we should. That's GMG After Dark. That's patrons only.
Yeah.
Only they get to see me in that state.
They get to see tired Ash dealing with post gym sweats.
That's right. Yeah.
And just a bunch of spiders around us, and we're just like, it's fine.
You ate so many spiders in that basement.
Absolutely.
Yeah, you inhaled a bunch of spiders while you're sleeping down there, I guarantee.
I kicked the, there's like a curtain to the side. I kicked the curtain, and my phone light was on, and I could see shadows, and I was like, that sucks. I was like, whatever's in there sucks.
In this 200-year-old house basement. It's very end of Blair Witch, like just standing in a corner, staring at the wall.
But it's a beautiful nook. I'll give you that.
Nook. Yeah, man. Hey, it's a warm, safe place for you to sleep while you're here, so you didn't have to get a hotel room.
Thanks, Dad.
Exactly. All right, so let's talk about some horror stories. Aaron F. says non-mobile friendly web stores are death for sales. I would 100% agree. Brian Krantz says, Ash, you're finally catching up with YouTube features from 2020. No, I definitely know that I can do premieres. I just don't do them because there's nothing I think is worth doing a premiere on. And typically my stuff posts at 8 o'clock in the morning when I'm trying to get the kids out the door to go to school. And I don't really have time to hang out on my phone and chat with everybody. So either it goes up the hour while you're on your way to work or before work so that people can catch it in like Eastern Standard Time, or I put it up at a weird time of day when no one is going to give a shit about it, unfortunately.
Tight noon 30 release.
Tight noon 30. Yeah. That's whatever. After you've like inhaled your parsnip fries that you've made the night before.
Just trying to get it through.
Sweating out the garlic olive oil.
I'm so smelly right now.
You smell like an Italian restaurant almost all the time.
Mamma mia.
Mamma mia. So can you tell that we've known each other for almost 10 years now? So Snail Mail Game says the worst website that I've encountered was my local Krispy Kreme donut shop. They have a website? Who web orders Krispy Kreme donuts? You're gonna have to tell me this too because I don't have a big Krispy Kreme experience.
I have questions. Okay. What do you mean local Krispy Kreme? The only Krispy Kreme they were so rare.
Because you're all donkeys. You're all donkeys.
One showed up.
We had like one or two in Ontario.
Yeah, one showed up in Saugus, Massachusetts, which is like our Jersey Shore.
Okay.
If you want to, like, that's
I thought that was Revere. You got a Revere, that's your Jersey Shore.
No, because
Revere is more like the Fukushima.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Gotcha. Okay.
Revere is like the runoff, and Saugus is where people are pumping the fist. They're doing the gym and the tan and the laundry.
It's your Venice Beach, but in Massachusetts. And so a lot colder.
Yeah, it's very cold. There's a giant orange dinosaur on the highway.
Sure there is.
Of
course there is.
But yeah, it was there, and it was just gone within a year. It just couldn't hold up.
And yet there's still White Castles. I don't know how White Castle stays in business.
Anyone that eats at White Castle on purpose is a psychopath.
I've tried it once. I don't think it's actually a hamburger.
No.
Like, it was sold to me with that movie, but the thin slab of pink whatever was in that bun, I would never it was like astronaut food.
It looks like a cracker.
It looks like it was barely cooked. It was like cooked in water. It looked like...
No, they do. They steam them.
Yeah, it looked like Spam that someone had steamed and then pretended to like
onions
pass off
on
as
it,
beef
dude.
with a bit of onion, yeah.
Onion.
Sauteed onion was a little bit... I like some sauteed onions, yeah, but Krispy Kreme is... not Krispy Kreme. White Castle's...
Where's my onion donut, dude?
I'm waiting for the savory ones. All right, so Aaron F. says, how about websites that make you do 14 rounds of I'm Human to get in because they can't play nice with VPNs or your particular off-brand browser? So, like, is that a thing that happens? Does it trigger... So, like, it'll just trigger those, like, captchas over and over and over again?
Yeah, so if you're using an off-brand browser, which please share your favorite browser.
Like a DuckDuckGo
and why it's Opera or whatever. Because of their sick memes online.
Because they've marketed to you so well.
Yeah, because you're a millennial grasping at any sort of feeling cool.
I love when a tech professional makes fun of all of these things.
Because I know that I'm garbage, and everyone should too. But yeah, like
Aren't you a millennial?
Yeah.
I'm pretty sure you are a
no,
millennial.
I'm mid-millennial.
You're like
dude.
center of the pack
Yeah,
millennial. Yeah,
I was
yeah.
in the mix.
Okay, yeah,
I
because
was
I'm
in
an
the mix
ex-ennial. I'm at like
getting-
3-year space where you can be either side.
Yeah, when you're just the forgottens.
The forgotten.
Yeah.
Yeah. We had our before we were teens was pre-digital, and our teens were all digital.
I think it was
That's a cutoff.
if your pornography was digital.
Or it was a magazine you found in a shed in the woods.
Yeah, that's different.
That's two
that's
different
X.
sides of that.
That's Gen X.
That's Gen X.
Is shed.
I had both.
Yeah.
I had a magazine that we found in the woods
Yeah.
and then scanned and emailed all to each other.
If you were waiting for dial-up,
Yeah, exactly.
and then downloading mystery files off Kazaa and just hoping it wasn't a beheading, and you're just like, ooh,
That's a whole other level.
the chat's probably not loving this.
No, there's so much more. We've gained 9 more people watching since that started. We're almost at 70 people watching now with a completely unannounced Inside Tabletop.
About
Inside Tabletop's-
nothing.
I love that when you come to visit, Inside Tabletop takes a whole left turn, like a wild left turn.
We're way off.
We're way off base at this point. So then we got the ghosts. Miles Turner says 6mm moderns without pictures and only army destination codes to go by was not fun. Oh my god, yeah, old websites where it's like an old
man.
catalog where there's
Yeah.
no pictures of anything.
It's all
just like-
hyperlinks.
it just says 6mm Macedonians, £1.50,
Yeah.
and you have to try and do that stuff.
And you're like, how many? What is this?
You just start filling a cart. You have no idea what's going to show
Yeah.
up. It's one 6mm
Yeah.
soldier. That's all it is.
It's a
you
it's
order
a
them one guy
pound
at a time.
50,
It's a
and you-
pound 50.
yeah.
Yeah, $3.50 for a 6mm guy.
And the shipping is $30 from the UK.
It is
Yeah.
Royal Mail. It shows up maybe.
It shows up on a ship that looks like
It's just on the fucking
iron,
Mayflower.
yeah, old Ironsides that's rolling up, and I'm worried about it.
It shows up and gets thrown over the side with a bunch of tea in Boston Harbor.
We only did that once.
just one time.
One time.
One time you threatened some tea.
You know, it wasn't coffee. That was the problem.
It was not coffee at that time. Yeah, it was not cold coffee either. Yeah, Snowman Games was not into that. We've got Miles. Now they're talking to each other, which is very funny. Snowman Games says I'm based out of Utah. We have like 2 or 3 Krispy Kremes. Got it. Steam. Now people are just talking about Nintendo DS Opera. That's what people are looking at the website.
Are
through.
you using
That was their-
Nintendo DS?
Nintendo DS Operas. That's legit.
You're offline, dude.
That's legit.
No.
He's off the grid, man.
We can't-
No one's tracking him.
This dude's living under a
the CIA
Starbucks, jacking internet with the Ninja Turtles in the sewers.
That's right, with his Nintendo DS Opera browser. That one won immediately. That's Dragon Monk 123. That was an absolute slam dunk of a browser recommendation. And then Lorcan Nagel says, "Hey, someone's been using Opera for like 20 years. That's like that's pretty millennial. That's fine." Yeah, so Aaron F says Opera cuts the least into my laptop spare RAMs. There you go. You got a lot of Opera stands in the
This
chat.
seems
right now.
like a big opera group.
Yeah, it's a big opera. There's big opera energy coming
Yeah.
out. Yeah, it's a
lot of people laughing at Eric Andre memes being posted on Twitter. And you're like, what are you doing? How is this related to your
Why
browser?
would you say something so dangerous and yet so brave? So controversial yet so brave. Maurice Chan says LimeWire is his favorite browser. I love what you've started right now.
It's not good.
Lorcan Neo says I'm Gen X, but porn mags were illegal in my homeworld until the late 90s.
In your
Holy
home
crap.
world.
I'm not sure exactly what that means, but I'm so excited that's happening.
Can you elaborate, chatter?
Can we please
When this
elaborate?
catches up, I want to know.
I want to know where your mothership landed. This is amazing.
In my home
In
world.
my home world, yeah. Snowman Game says using Firefox. And then also, the reason my local Krispy Kreme donut shop shut its website down is that they stored all the purchase data in plain text.
Hell yeah.
What does that mean?
That means that if you had the URL structure,
Okay.
you could identify and find their whole purchase records. And by that data, it probably also had
Credit
any
card
credit
numbers?
card.
Oh my god!
What would have been sick is to cross-reference how fat someone was.
With
Yeah.
the amount of
The
purchases.
last thing I want is my credit card purchases of food to
Yeah.
leak because people are going to be sad.
People are gonna have opinions.
Rocket Money has a lot of opinions on how I spend my money.
Rocket Money's judging you like mom. on
Rocket
your
Money's
birthday.
like, bro, did you spend
yeah.
$86 at Dunkin' Donuts this week? And I'm like, I'll tell you how to live.
That's right. Yeah, you've lost all control of your life. Shouldn't be a banner ad on your phone that comes up every 5 minutes.
Well, when you're firing up the Dunkin' Donuts app to pay for a coffee, that's when life's hit pretty hard.
Oh, it's so great. That's so great. We have a whole bunch of Oh, that's right. Lorcanagel says Ireland was pretty much a different planet. He was in Ireland until the mid-90s. That is very true. That is very, very true. And now everyone's just talking about how to like fix that problem. Netscape for the win, Aaron F says. The browser wars are fighting hard here. Well, that's it. We're an hour, so I think we're gonna wrap this up. But thanks so much for hanging out in the chat. We had like 70 people watching. I think at the peak, there's probably more than that, but I'm not paying attention to the chat numbers that much. And I hope you guys enjoyed this. Tell us in the comments afterwards, because when this gets turned off, the chat obviously goes away. But tell us in the comments afterwards if you did watch this live, what you thought about the format, how we're going to do this in the future is probably like this. I also want to start doing Grimdark Media like this in the future, but probably on Tuesdays, which will be a different experience for all you guys. And this is going to hopefully cut my editing time down in the future. If you don't get to watch this live and you're a patron, there will be an audio grab of this as a podcast. I'll edit and post up with I'll scrape the audio and make it cleaned up and improved for like an all audio experience.
Get my lisp really popping.
Just Richard, yeah, get your yeah. Just really take the juice out of it.
It sounds like I'm speaking parcel tongue in Harry Potter, dude.
Just talking to snakes all the time. I have a Slytherin. I'm fine with it. And then I hope you guys really enjoyed this format. It was a lot more fun to do. I'll be honest with you, because I know that I don't have to sit for 8.5 hours to edit a 1 hour video. And thanks for you coming in, man. You're really it's funny how passionate you are about something people probably don't think about in this industry, that has such a huge impact at both the bottom and top that neither side, I think, sees.
The customer base is the one that suffers. Like if you have a bad user experience, sucks.
And it's becoming. I mean, we all have to accept the fact that digital marketing is the number one way of marketing in the future. And I'm party to that. Like I digitally market for all companies, big and small. But what they do for themselves actually says a whole lot about how they care about their customers and that experience. And I think that's what we're talking about, man. If you care about the small things, then you care about the big things more.
All the small things.
Yeah. All the small things.
Don't remember rest of the lyrics.
Gonna get demonetized.
Yeah.
Please don't finish that line.